This is a professional league in Europe, and as the article mentioned that the reason why the VR wasn't on is because they didn't plug it in.
Oh, man.
442 Dudes.
Welcome back to another episode of 442 Dudes. I am Ben.
I'm John.
And together we're the dudes that bring you 442, exciting football podcast, all the way in Tampines in Singapore. So if you haven't been following, all the way from Singapore.
That's right.
So of course, don't forget to follow us and subscribe, and most importantly, stay tuned, because our next segment is what we always call 90 Minutes Off.
Alright, here we are for 90 minutes off, and for this episode we will be focusing on certain players. Now, something that doesn't really happen very often in the Premier League this last week.
Okay.
And this is the hat-trick of hat-tricks.
The hat-tricks of hat-tricks?
Exactly.
What's that?
There were 3 players that scored hat-tricks over the weekend. I can't really recall when was the last time 3 players in the Premier League actually scored hat-tricks in the same weekend.
Okay.
And this time around it happened. So there were 3 players.
Okay.
I think there's Erling Haaland.
Of course.
Son Heung-min.
All right. Woo. He's showing his nipple, I think. Okay.
And last but not least, Evan Ferguson. So I believe you have something to say. Who do you want to talk about first?
Let's go with you first, because since you're wearing the jersey,
Not me per se.
But not him lah, obviously.
Of course.
Son Heung-min.
Sir.
I think he's still living up to the name, the reputation, being that Asian player, just making his mark in the English Premier League. I think well done to him, and the goals he scored. I don't just want to focus on his hat trick, but I think his leadership. Ever since given that captain's armband, right. I think really he has proven why he was chosen to be, the captain. And I think his support for the Australian guy.
What's his name?
I cannot pronounce. Okay, Anje. Anje. I don't know how to say the Australian accent, But anyway, I think the support for that shows, it's showing, it's rallying the supporters, because supporters for Spurs, they're being frustrated. They got knocked out of a possible tournament, and they were complaining, like, why weren't you playing the team that was supposed to take us there? I think this is where Son came in, and he said, you know what, calm down everybody, calm down, because he knows what he's doing. Then you have Maddison, who's coming in from Leicester City, and Maddison's making an impact as well. I think that's a good buy that they had. We're kind of forgetting Harry Kane already. Well, I mean, if you're a fan of Spurs, you kind of see that, it is a team now. It's not just Harry Kane. So
interestingly,
it's coming together. So I think for Son, and his hat trick, well done on that. But I just thought to show his whole why he has been chosen as the captain. So so for me, well done on you, Son. And I think if you're a Spurs fan, you might get frustrated at times. Not as frustrated as me as a Chelsea fan, but well done to Son. Well done to.
You had to bring it
I had to put. Well, I'm being honest. So I had to.
You'll get your chance.
I will get a chance. I have to give credit to Son for coming out and being strong on his stance towards Anje. And how on Ange and how they should rally. Yeah, rally support.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I think Son actually came out to say that he feels that Ange was somewhat like a fatherly fever. Right?
Fever now your turn lah. Fatherly fever.
Fatherly figure. Yeah. And I think you mentioned something earlier about Kane, right?
I did.
It doesn't feel that Spurs are missing Kane. In fact, I think it's good for Spurs in the sense that both Lloris and Kane are now moved on. They have left the club, and the club seems now, the player seems more carefree in a certain sense. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Freedom, I think.
Kane and Lloris were fantastic players for the clubs, right? But
they were.
But I think now there seems to be some kind of freedom in the way they're playing. And
I do agree with you.
In terms of the leadership, I agree with you in the leadership. I think Maddison came on the interview, I think was it the first or second game?
Okay.
Where the Spurs players actually went over to the fans to clap, to thank them for their support.
Right.
It was actually suggested by Son.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think they didn't really do. I think they drew or something like that. But Son insisted that we should go and thank the fans for their support, and all the players went, and the fans then in turn showed their appreciation for the players. And I think that helped to cement the relationship between the fans or at least, bring the players and the fans closer to one another. And I think that's showing in how the support from the fans are going through to the players. And it's brilliant. And, Son has this knack for scoring hat-tricks after, a goal drought. Right. So
it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
But usually when strikers go through a goal drought, they don't have the confidence. They don't try to attempt difficult shots and everything. They will try to make it simple. Keep it goal. Just even the penalty will do them wonders. But for Son, for his first goal, wow! I mean, what a goal! He actually. The presence of mind, the composure to just to chip the keeper at the moment in time. I mean,
he's proving his worth. That's all.
That's the reason why he's world class, right?
Yeah.
But I want to give credit to someone else first for Son's third goal.
Okay,
what a pass by Porro. Pedro Porro. Oh my goodness, what a pass! That was like a Beckham-esque kind of pass, like a Trent Alexander-Arnold. I had to do it.
Okay, just Beckham-esque will do it. Just Beckham-esque will do, huh?
But you get what I mean. You get what I mean, right? That pass was brilliant. Porro's pass was pinpoint accuracy.
So well done on the Asian for that hat trick. And let's move on.
Yes.
To which one?
Oh wait. Can I just say something first?
Yes.
I think for Spurs, right? I think there's something that if I noticed regarding Spurs is I think Ange needs to do something.
What do you think he needs to do then?
So they beat Burnley 5-2 convincingly.
Yeah, quite.
But towards the end of the game, after the 90th minute, the Spurs players actually took their foot off the pedal. They were literally walking, but Burnley was still running. And because of that reason, Burnley actually scored the goal in the 95th minute. So to me, although the goal didn't have any significant impact on the game, but I think the mentality, if they were to carry out this mentality of, I won it, I just want to just walk and I'm tired, then I don't think it will, in my opinion, probably hurt them in some matches.
I mean, diminishes the chance of being top four.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So moving on to Haaland. So
the Norwegian now. Okay.
I think we have said, and then the media has been going on and about how brilliant he is, a brilliant striker it is. So, I mean, we're not going to go into that.
Not force.
But we want to focus more on who he is as a person.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, I mean, we all know Man City trashed Fulham 5-1. Obviously, Haaland's got the hat-trick and all. But there's a controversy that took place in the game, and that was Nathan Ake's goal.
Okay.
So if you didn't watch the goal or didn't see the match or the highlights, I really urge you to take a look. Reason being, we want to hear your opinion. Do you think it was an offside offense? Now, for those of you who didn't watch it, Akanji was actually in the offside position, obviously. But the question remains, and I think there's a very, very contentious question over here.
Okay.
Was he interfering with the play?
So was Akanji?
Yes. So I think he was, because Leno actually was anticipating the ball to deflect or ricochet off Akanji before deciding whether to dive. So by the time he decided to dive, it was already too late because he realized that the ball is not going to touch Akanji, and then he dived, but he was too late. He was just a split second too late, and then they considered the goal. And in that instance, Akanji was definitely interfering in the play because he is interfering with the goalkeeper's decision of whether or not to dive. And the distance between Akanji and Leno was, I think, just like less than a meter. So how is that not interfering in play? And Haaland himself came up in the interview to say that he agrees that the goal should probably have been chalked off.
Yeah, like disallowed.
Yes, exactly. And imagine if the goal was chalked off, right? I don't think Fulham will lose 5-1, to be very honest with you.
Yeah. Because
after the goal was allowed, they basically just deflated and
sort of gave up.
They just gave up, and then obviously they went on to score. Yeah, but so Haaland, as brilliant as a player he is, I think he's also brilliant as a person.
Yeah, I
think
he's
brilliant as a person.
I think he is.
Correct. So moving on to the next one. This is a young up and coming.
Very young and upcoming.
Yeah, man. Evan Ferguson. Wow. If I'm not wrong, we actually mentioned Ferguson last season.
Yeah, you did.
Right. We mentioned Ferguson last season about how this guy is really, impressing a lot of people. At such a young age, but he has such composure. To the point where we all thought that he's just, a fox in a box. He only scores goals, he tapped ins, but because of his brilliant positioning, his intelligent running and all. But in this game, we saw a different side of him.
We did.
And for one of his goals, he actually scored from outside the box. And it was a belter of a goal. So, Evan Ferguson, for some reason, he reminds me of Harry Kane.
Oh, is it?
The way because he's not very fast, but he is strong.
Okay.
He's tall.
Presence.
He has amazing shooting ability, amazing accuracy, and he's just a goal scorer.
Okay, so do you think he'll be better than Harry Kane then?
In time to come, probably. But probably not at Brighton.
Okay.
Probably not at Brighton.
Not at Brighton. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
we'll see.
Yeah. So those were the three people that you want to follow.
The hat tricks.
Yeah.
And so those were 90 minutes off.
No, there's one more thing. So we are going to move on to another group of players.
Is it?
So in a recent transfer,
that's why I'm trying to escape this. Okay, anyway.
Why are you escaping this? Good try. So in the recent transfer window, there was a lot of hoo-ha about the 100 million players, whether they're really worth
the price tag.
So let's do a simple comparison, all right? Okay. Let's do a simple comparison between the new 100 million midfielders.
Okay.
There's only one previous one, Jack Grealish, but we're not going to talk about him. He's yesterday. Yesterday news. Let's talk about the new 100 million midfielders.
All right, let's go.
All right, so first up, let's move away from the Premier League for a while.
Okay.
And let's go to England's current Golden Boy.
Oh.
And in fact, he's actually in the running for the European Golden Boy.
Okay.
Largely thanks to Taylor Swift fans. If you haven't heard, you can go and take a look.
If you haven't heard,
but Jude Bellingham, Ben.
I mean,
what could you say? What do you want to say?
I mean, the recent 95th minute goal or something like that just shows his worth. That's all I'm going to say. I'm also going to say that he's just a player that shines in the league. Everyone thought he would struggle. I don't think he showed that.
On the contrary, he is balling it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would have thought that he would be one of those that would regret his move, go over to a club like Real Madrid and just. But no, he's not.
So instead of Jude Bellingham, we should call him Jude Balling Man.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, he's just doing it. 5 goals in 4 matches. First Englishman to ever win the Player of the Month award in the La Liga.
That's surprising, though.
Yeah.
That is so surprising. I never thought that he's the first Englishman. I thought McManaman was one of them. Beckham didn't win anything.
No, I don't think Beckham did. I don't think so.
I don't know. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, but I want to say this though. While I admire his confidence,
okay,
I feel that there is a tinge.
A tinge of what?
Just a very small tinge of arrogance that's coming to his game. I don't know. Okay, call me old school, call me boomer, whatever you want to call me. But I just sense that there might just be a little tinge of an arrogance that's coming into his game, and I hope it does not, bloom.
Well, that helps with some players. Erik Cantona. What's the other one? Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, but I mean, granted, he's a fantastic player. He's only 20 and he's just balling it and everywhere. But I don't know. I just feel that hopefully someone can get him to stay grounded. And he remains humble. But nonetheless, Jude Bellingham, this is...
Yeah, well done on you, man.
Well done to Birmingham for deciding to retire his jersey at 17. True. Everybody was laughing at Birmingham.
Exactly.
But, oh my goodness, just 3 years later, and we can see why.
Guess who's doing it right?
Exactly. So from Birmingham, we move on to... Let's go back to the Premier League.
Okay, yeah, let's do
the next one that I think is cooking it very nicely.
Cooking it very nicely.
Very nicely at the Emirates.
And like fried rice.
Of course. In fact, he scored a very delicious winner.
Oh, delicious winner.
Of course, against Man United.
Oh, very happy, are you?
And in case you're wondering what we're talking about, it's obviously Declan Rice.
The Rice guy.
Yes.
I mean, he's doing great. I think hefty price tag, and then coming to Arsenal, people thought he's also going to be one of those. Coming to Arsenal, you're not going to do well. He's proving them wrong.
Yes.
He scored that goal. That goal that you're talking about, that delicious goal you're talking about, the way that he ran towards the fans, the way the fans were running towards him. Yeah, I mean, price tag.
Not just that. I think he's a brilliant. He's such an intelligent footballer because his role in Arsenal has changed. Right? He's basically. It's almost like there are 3 roles that he needs to play: either the 6, either the 8, or the box to box.
Okay.
But he's excelling in every single role that he's been tasked in all the games. Different role, different tactics, but he's been excelling. So I think, kudos to Arteta for
rice cooker. He's just coping with the pressure.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's coping with the pressure.
Fantastic. But for the game, I just want to say something regarding the game.
Okay.
I don't agree that Garnacho's goal should have been called offside. I just think that
should be onside then.
I felt that the goal should have been allowed. But will United go on to win? I don't think so. I think we have ended in a draw. I still think you have ended in a draw,
Okay.
nonetheless. But well, kudos to Arsenal for going on to score 2 goals in injury time. One of which was very delicious goal.
Okay, here we go. Delicious. You know, all these talk. I think England, you better watch out. You have a lot of pressure on you now because you have Jude, you have Rice, and then the rest of them.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah. So let's move on. I know you're trying.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying my best.
I know you're trying.
I am trying my best. Okay, here we go. Let's go.
So let's move on. So those were the good stuff.
Oh, dear.
Right. Let's move on to a charity we know as Moses Caicedo.
Okay, what about him?
His charity drive continues.
Yeah.
Right, this is his 3rd assist for the opponent since becoming the most expensive EPL footballer ever.
Yeah.
And I have no idea, to this day, I have no idea why he's even worth 115 million. He's probably not even worth 50 million in my opinion. He's poor in his decision making, he's too quick to commit in the tackles, and his communication issues with his teammates, which I think is... I don't even know why it's a communication issue. This guy speaks English and Spanish. He's surrounded by people who are speaking English and Spanish. So, I have no idea why he's struggling so much in this team. But nonetheless, well, we'll see. It's just the beginning.
It is.
Hopefully, he gets to live up to his price tag. But unfortunately, in the recent game against Argentina, he was left, clutching on the blades of the grass by McAllister, a Liverpool player who only cost 35 million.
We'll probably be in 5th position this season. Thank you. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So last but not least, there's something good lah.
Yeah, there is. I have to say there is.
It's the sandwich method, isn't it? We start good, we go to the and then we find the end of good. So there's another Chelsea 100+ million player, right? So Enzo Fernandez. I think he's the only good player or the only good product.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I want to say this.
Fully agree with you.
I want to say, don't cut me off. He's the only good product in the current Chelsea supermarket FC.
Ken, I know you wanted to say that.
Of course, I have to say it. I mean, yeah.
But you see, guess who running the supermarket? I told you last seasons of this 442. You said that he's a good businessman. I agree, but he's not going to be the right owner for us. I still make my stand, Yeah. But anyway, thank you, Enzo. Yeah.
Yep, so that wraps up the segment of 90 minutes off. And we'll be moving on to the next one called What's What with Husu. There you go.
Yep. And don't forget, we are the 442 dudes all the way in Tampines, Singapore. And welcome back to What's What with
Who's Who.
No bad, got chemistry, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so in What's What with Who's Who, we are going to be speaking about the current interesting happenings in the world of football. Or if you're living in, New York, it's soccer. But anyway, so we're going to be speaking on, firstly, the Euro 2024 qualifiers. It resumes, but we're not talking about specifically the matches, more of the qualifying criteria.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they went on the qualifiers was back in March, if I'm not wrong. So that was 6 months ago. So I think just to remind everybody how the whole new qualifying criteria works is that there's a new format involving both the European qualifiers and the UEFA Nations League. Right, so there will be the top 2 teams from each group of the qualifying. So total of 20 teams. Okay. From 10 groups. They will automatically join Germany, who is the host for 2024. And the remaining 3 spots will be played via a playoff comprising of 12 teams based on their performance in the 2022/2023 Nations League. So basically, the teams are already determined.
More or less. Yeah.
Right. So just to decide which teams out of the 12 will be playing the playoffs. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's quite complicated, but if you want, you can just go and Google it for the European.
I mean, at the end of the day, just allowing more people to come in,
Correct.
I think that's what they're trying to do, and so
Yeah. So for this week, I think there's not just the European qualifiers. There's also the World Cup qualifiers.
Oh,
And that's actually really the reason why I'm wearing this.
Right.
The South Korean jersey, because I realized this is the only international jersey I have.
Oh.
Because Son got a hat trick, so I thought
might as well.
Wear it,
okay.
Right?
And so, what about this World Cup 2026 qualifier?
Yeah. So there's something very interesting. So we actually prepared a simple picture to show you basically the new format of the qualifying. So right now there are instead of the usual 32, the FIFA has actually expanded the World Cup to 48 teams, which is a bit ridiculous in my opinion. And because to cater to all the mass amount of qualifying that's taking place, they actually have different start dates for the qualifying, and we are starting with the South American qualifiers first, right? So you can see on the screen right now, there are a lot of different confederations. Obviously, you have Asia, you have Africa, you have the Central America. So I believe it's pronounced as the CONMEBOL, and that is the South America one. So if you look at the start date, the qualifying start date in the second last or second column from the right, the qualifying start date, it starts this week in September.
I actually kind of started before this recording even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, the UEFA qualifiers only begins in March 2025. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting thing that is happening. So I really don't know how they're going to make it work, but yeah, they have to make it work. And because of the increase in number, the World Cup is going to be held in 3 different countries, namely USA, Canada, and Mexico. So I don't know how to go. I don't even know how they're going to I think it's going to drag on and on, but well, we'll take a look.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, but on a good note, I mean, there might be something for Singapore, maybe.
Anyway.
So those were the international the weekend for this week. That the Euros qualifiers have resumed and the World Cup qualifiers has started. But coming back to the Premier League, I think this is something that's very contentious. I wouldn't say contentious, but this is just something that is, I think it's been blown out of proportion. In a sense. I think a lot of some people, I think they're trying to ride the wave. They're trying to get something out of it, which I think it's almost trying to exploit something
just to make news.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to make news.
And what we're talking about is basically the news about Antony.
Yeah, the one from Man United.
Man United, yeah. So if you didn't realize, Antony has been alleged to have physically abused his ex-girlfriend. So if you look on the screen very shortly, there you will see this statement by his ex-girlfriend. He has been suspended and removed from the Brazilian squad. There's pending allegations. The funny thing is, there's no news of him being suspended from the United training. So I'm not.
They did release a statement, but
What was the statement about?
I think it was about they were aware of it and they were in discussion, something like that.
Yeah, so I think it's just I'm just scratching my head to think that why would the whack, the wife and girlfriend suddenly just keep coming out, namely girlfriends, keep coming out on, oh my god, this guy abused me and everything. Is it just because they're famous, they're trying to get something out of it? But if you look at the Greenwood case, for example, she actually dropped the charges.
Oh yeah.
And now they're back together again. Right, so I don't know what's going on with obviously none of us will know what's going on between Antony and his ex-girlfriend. But the fact that she came out to say that he physically abused her to the point where there were a lot of different marks. Apparently he scratched her or used something against. I don't know if that's really true. Then I'm sorry, something needs to be done to Antony.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because at the end of the day, he's a role model.
Yep.
And we do not condone this kind of behavior.
Definitely not.
Especially if it's violent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But then again, I just think there's more than meets the eye regarding this whole issue. I really hope this will be the last one. That no other whack, the wife or girlfriend will come on and say, "Oh, he abused me." And all.
Oddly enough, always seems to be coming from Old Trafford.
Exactly. So what's happening? What's happening at Old Trafford?
Nothing against Old Trafford. I'm just saying.
Is it because
oddly enough,
they don't know how to manage their players, or something is wrong with the ownership? It's only in recent times, right? Look at the past. The players of the past, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe only Rooney.
Yeah. But
it's a different case. It's not abuse.
It wasn't abuse. Ferguson would have handled that, whatever. Yeah.
Speaking of Ferguson, what's your take on the Jadon Sancho episode?
Oh, here we go. Okay, so, I think that is an interesting one for me.
Okay.
Why am I saying this? Now, to sum it up, I think he was left out, and people were saying fans were coming up to say something. Erik Ten Hag, I think he clarified about something about performances as well. Then I think that's when Sancho just had to say, "Oh, it's not like that. It's like this." In my opinion, it seemed too defensive on his part. That's just me. That's how I feel.
If you look at the first sentence,
yeah,
please don't believe everything you read.
Yeah, it's kind of very.
Wow, why do you start with this?
I don't know. It feels very defensive. That's what I would think.
Now, is this a culture of the current generation? You know, that they just want to, they think they're doing well, like what he said, he's training properly and all, but if it doesn't fit the manager's ideology and his tactics, then you're not doing right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only thing he did right was the last statement that he made, which is, I will continue to fight for this badge no matter what.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, that's what we want. You know, I mean, as a football fans of any club. Football fans of any club. We want our players to do that. And I'm sure United fans, you want that as well. But I remember years ago, everyone was hyping over Jadon Sancho, but now, you know, you seem to be going against him.
No, I have two things. There's two things that I want to mention here. So based on his current outburst, right?
Yeah.
You know, if that was Ferguson, or at least managers from that era, there's no way in hell that he's going to come back.
I think he would have been sold.
Definitely, straight up.
Yeah.
Transfer listed, banished from the first team.
Under 21 or something.
Probably won't even be training the reserve, you know, if that's the case.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at it, Beckham has came out, you know, Neville also mentioned in his memoirs, on his podcast as well, how Ferguson treated them. So if you want to go out online, you want to rant, there must be a reason. Yes, either you go to the manager as a man, speak to him man to man, and ask the reason what happened, you know, just iron things out, rather than ranting it, you know. It's like, you're literally airing your dirty laundry in public. And in this case, social media, which is worldwide. Yeah. And for all you know, it's just rubbish. There's nothing. Actually, it's just a small thing, but you are trying to blow it out of proportion. That's what it is. I mean, it's I don't know. I really don't know what's going on in United. Right? It's not just.
Yeah, we don't know. And
now I just want to understand, what is Maguire's and McTominay's thoughts? Oh, yeah. Because they are also in a similar predicament, isn't it? They're left out of the starting lineup. They're not really. So what is Maguire and McTominay's take to all this? Are they also, you know, trying to rant, they're trying to bottle it up, or have they, you know, be behaving like a man should when, you know, going up to Ten Hag and asking him exactly what's wrong with my game? What should I do to improve? I think that's what you should be doing, right? So how do I get back into the team? What should I be doing? What do you want to see? What are the tactics and the strategies that you want to see from me, so that I can play an important role in the team once again, rather than ranting on social media? Yeah. Because I think that what Sancho has done is absolutely bullshit and reflective of the current generation. I'm saying it out there.
Yeah, he's saying it out there.
Really, I think he should be doing is you know, be a man, do the right thing. Yeah, like Russell Peters said.
That's a very weird person to quote.
But then again, the other question, I mentioned two things, right? So the second question I have is, does Ten Hag have a man management issue?
Ooh, throwing to all you Red Devils fan out there. Huh?
So does Erik Ten Hag have a man management issue? Okay. What's your take, Ben?
Well, again, I'm not a United fan, but it does seem that there are different players that he seemingly cannot handle. But on the other hand, if you look at it from an outsider point of view, maybe he's handling it by just taking the trash out. You don't work for me. I mean, you don't work in my system. You're off. You don't work for the formation that I have for you. You're off.
Like a certain Ronaldo.
Yeah. And if you complain too much, you're out. So yeah, that's how I see it. But the funny thing is, he's buying all the Ajax player. Okay, anyway. Well, everybody is.
Do you know the Ajax? There were three players that fell out with Ten Hag.
Oh, is it?
Noah Lang fell out him at Ajax.
Okay.
Armin Younes fell out him at Ajax.
Okay.
Andre Onana fell out him. But there's a but.
Yes, there is a but.
They made up.
They did. That's why come back, lah.
That's why he came back at United. Not just that. In United, Rashford was actually one of the players that actually fell out with Ten Hag as well. I think it was a very silly incident. Rashford was late for training and he was duly punished. He wasn't happy. But I think there was a very good conversation between the two of them, and Rashford came back. And when he came back, Rashford just turned. And he actually scored 30 goals. He ended the season with 30 goals. And for some reason, he's not part of the list of nominees for Ballon d'Or or whatever shit. But yeah. So now my question to Sancho is, are you going to call Piers Morgan?
You heard it right there. Or are you going to call the Chris Hansen? CCBTV. Just saying.
We had to put it there. That is just weird. Now, speaking of weird things,
goodness, yeah.
Oh my god, this is just outrageous. Not even weird, in my opinion. But there was something that's so silly that took place in the Portuguese League.
Okay, but the funny thing now, before you go there, the last time we talked about VAR using it, they were communicating with a fan. This time, we have to show them the picture. They are communicating with a mobile phone.
Yeah, so you can see the picture right now. What the hell is happening in the Portuguese League? So apparently, I was reading the articles.
Okay, what do you
say? Okay, basically, before we go there, what this picture is telling you is basically there was a penalty decision. The penalty was given by the referee.
Okay.
But there was a VAR check.
Okay.
So the VAR actually told the referee, hey, you need to go to the screen to have a second look.
Okay, so
so when he went to the VAR,
okay,
he realized it wasn't turned on. The VAR wasn't turned on. So initially they thought, it was a power failure.
Right.
But the stadium lights were still on.
Okay.
The music was still ongoing.
Oh dear.
But for some reason, only the VAR wasn't working. So in order to find out more, he actually called the VAR on the mobile phone, and whatever they were talking about, and then they say, okay. So he finished the phone call and said, no penalty.
This
is a professional league in Europe, and as the article mentioned that the reason why the VR wasn't on is because
dear,
they didn't plug it in.
Really? They didn't plug it in. Leave it
Someone failed to plug it in.
I'm telling you, there is someone banging in that VR room, which explains why the wire came off. Who's abusing? Okay, anyway.
I think that's sorry.
How? Why? I mean, I didn't know of that until now.
Really? Yeah, I think is that all. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's what with Fusu, and I like how we concluded with that. The VAR wasn't plugged in kind of portion. So if you're not plugged into our channel yet, remember, stay plugged in. That's what we want you to do. Stay plugged in, and we are the 442 Dudes. I'm Ben.
I'm John.
And we are from the little island of Singapore, and again filming in the great part of the island called Tampines. And so this is the 442 Dudes, brought to you by CCBTV. Don't forget to subscribe.
See you next week.
谢谢哈你们。对了，就是佳明，然后伟阳。
안녕。